Namaskar, I am Umang from Mumbai Tarun Bharat and Policy Advocacy Research Centre, and I welcome you all to Bharatasya Sangeet Vishwanubandh Yatra. It is an attempt to trace the journey of Indian classical music and instruments in interrelationship with world music cultures. Today we have with us Swaraprajna Pandit Milind Raikar ji. Pandit Milind Raikar ji is a renowned musician from Goa. He is an acknowledged Hindustani classical violinist of the present generation. He is known for his melodious and soulful style of playing the violin. He is mainly the disciple of violin virtuoso Padma Shri Pandit D.K. Datar from Gwalior Gharana and Gana Saraswati Vidushi Kishori Amonkar, an erudite scholar and doyen of Jaipur Atrauli style Gharana of music. He performed for the first time as a singer at the tender age of 5 years. He began as a guitarist and a bongo player, and later completed the grade 4 in violin from the Trinity College of Music in London under the tutelage of Professor A.P. De Costa. He has toured East African countries and Muscat along with the troupe of Indian pop star Remo Fernandez as a lead instrumentalist. He remained dedicated to Hindustani classical music, although he has learned and performed Western classical music. Today, we are going to ask him a few questions about violin and its relationship with Indian classical music. Namaste, Milind ji.
Namaste.
Sir, tell me, to begin with, when was the first time you were introduced to a violin?
I was introduced to violin in the year 1979. When I was in 10th standard. Just entered in 10th standard in the month of June, July. Earlier, as you said, I was a guitarist, but my father was very much into Indian classical music and had a worry that in near future the Indian classical music would demolish or would vanish. So he was always saying me, there will be many guitarists we will find in India, in Goa, but हम लोग जिसको बोलते हैं कि सुरीला वायलिन वादक, tuneful with a good intonation, we will not find violinists. So I want you to learn violin, and I don't know, I was against that actually, but suddenly I felt that I should please my father. And one day I said, okay, you wanted me to learn violin, no? I will start from this month. And immediately he took me to one of the shop and he said, John, I had told him that my son will learn violin, give him the violin. So he had already purchased the violin.
Wow.
And at that time he purchased it for 300 rupees, 1979, and we didn't have that much of capacity of paying 300, but I don't know, he might have arranged it. And then my riyaz began. He used to play tambura.
Okay.
And then he trained me to play sa, then sa re ga ma, and we didn't have a Indian classical violinist in Goa. That's how I had to learn Western music. There was no other choice.
Right.
And which is not mentioned by you, there were many gurus. Like my first guru was Father Kamil Xavier and Dorado from Margao in Goa.
Okay.
Then we shifted to Panjim. Then I learned from Professor A.P. De Costa, and then Father Martins. And then I found my violin guru Pandit B.S. Math for Indian classical music, and then Vasantrao Kadnekar as well.
Okay.
So that journey, from while learning Western, I used to go to
Indian classical.
Pandit B.S. Math ji.
So that was when you were first introduced to the violin.
Right.
And now I would like to know, when did the violin come to India first? And how has the instrument over these years changed?
Well, as per my knowledge, what I have learned, what I have heard from my genuine artists, my Guruji and others, the violin first came to South India.
Okay.
Britishers came to South India in the beginning, it seems, and then while coming they brought violin. And there was one Swami Iyer, or I don't remember the name, so it's advisable not to take name. But one of the renowned artists, he saw that they were playing violin and each note was coming so pure and the flights were played very easily. And he thought that this instrument would be very appropriate for their music.
Oh.
And then he learned, or he made it learn for some his students maybe. And they adopted that Western technique and developed Indian technique with they changed the tuning and they made it suitable for their music.
Wow.
Like we say gamak, the mind,
Right.
and all kind of other things.
Yes. This was around...
Centuries ago.
Okay.
Maybe 200-300 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
To continue with it, in North India, I heard that the violin was also there in Calcutta also. And then Alauddin Baba was playing violin. But that was extreme west.
Right.
But in Maharashtra, the credit goes to Pandit Gajanan Rao Joshi, Gajanan Bua Joshi. Even there is a story behind it. Raja from Aundh, he gave that violin to this child, Gajanan Bua, and said, "You play this instrument."
Okay.
And he was very clever, very smart, extraordinary musicologist, singer. So he started playing it. And then he brought it to Bombay.
Okay.
And that's how, to play Indian music like Ragdari and all, the credit goes to him.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, sir, how has the instrument changed over all these years? Are there any technical changes to it? Are there any new innovations to it?
Yeah. There is. Like, what I spoke about Pandit Gajanan Bua Joshi, they used to tune it into pasa pasa. When you tune pasa pasa, you get the lowest note as pa and the highest note as sarigama pa without changing the position of the fingers. I mean, position of the hand. Slowly, Pandit Vigneshwar Shastri ji in Devdar school, he trained my Guruji.
Okay.
Yeah, and simultaneously I think Pandita Yan Rajam ji, M. Gopalakrishnan ji, because the tuning of Sapa Sapa was originally maybe from Carnatic. So my Datar Guruji introduced that Sapa Sapa.
Here. Okay.
Yeah. But they were also playing. I cannot say that he introduced. But what I know is he tuned it to Sapa Sapa in Safed Tin.
Okay.
Which matches the vocal chords. Like in a vocalism, what we say, Sa Ni Da Pa Ma Ga Re Sa. If you listen to Bhimsen Joshi, Jasraj ji, or Amir Khan ji, Rashid Khan ji,
Yes.
the maximum they go is Sa. And a higher note they go till Pa. But in Pasa Pasa tuning, you cannot go to the lowest Sa. They can go to up till upper Sa. Yeah. But that is for a vocal. We play in Gaiki, so that is not actually needed. So my Datar Guruji restricted it to lower Sa to upper Pa.
Wow. Okay. What were the innovations that you brought in with respect to violin?
First of all, I should speak about my stand.
Okay.
What happens, when you play violin on the as an Indian style, they keep the violin here, and naturally you need to bend like this. So when you bend, there is a problem for the backbone.
Right.
Especially if you are tall,
Right.
the student is tall or the artist is tall. After some years, it becomes problematic for the backbone. And I faced it in 1996. So my father said, if this happens, then you won't be able to play violin. Because what happened when I was playing one tan, gamak tan, it caught me here, one of the nerves, and I had to stop my recital. And within 8 days I had to go to Bhopal. So I could walk, I could do everything, but the moment I used to play violin the next day, it used to pain me.
Right.
So my father helped me. He said, violin ko aisa rakha, then he just raised it. Now first he said play in Western style. So I hold it like this and I played. There was no pain. Then he told me to bring down, keeping my backbone straight.
Correct.
And then he brought it here and then made me play everything. So almost like half an hour I played, keeping my backbone erect. It was fantastic. So he called one carpenter, and then he made this kind of device. The first device was of wooden, which helped me to finish that concert in Bhopal.
Right.
Yeah. And then we developed it to, now I have made the stand even for sitting on the chair.
Wow.
Yeah. That was. And another thing, I have, since I learned from Kishori Tai also, in my style, I try to play as much as long alap as possible. I think you heard it yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I think I have added it.
Wow.
So if you listen to classical music nowadays, you will have 15 minutes of tan or 20 minutes of tan and less part of alap. So I would like to maintain that.
Right.
It was my father's wish. It was wish of my guru also.
Right. Alap is sort of a warm-up for the artist, for the instrument, for any, I think when we are presenting a piece, either in front of the audience or even during our sadhana, alap is something that helps us to get in touch with the element.
Element in the sense?
In the sense of आपल्याला त्या सुराच्या जवळ जायला ती मदत करते.
So to develop the rag.
Correct.
Or to understand the rag.
Yes.
Or to be into the mood of that rag.
Right.
That is perfect, 100% perfect. But one step ahead, what I would say is, we say aradhana. We say it is a prayer to God. And we say in the sense, my father used to tell me, हर एक सुर के नज़दीक जाओ, सुर की प्रार्थना करो, pray to that swar, pray to that music, pray to that rag, then only that note will be happy on you, and then it will bless you with the musical notes.
Right.
This was taught to me by my daddy.
Okay.
Years ago.
Wow.
Like whenever I used to play sadhana, I used to play swarabhyas. Each note I used to play 8 hours,
wow.
8 days. Like until he was not happy, he didn't allow me to go ahead.
Go ahead, correct.
And at that time he used to always say, "Arey, उस सुर का ध्यान करो, भगवान से प्रार्थना करो." And so that my also, and when I came to Bombay, when I went to Kishori Tai, she used the same words. What I wonder is, when the father tells us, we don't value them. Because it's father. What he knows. And when Kishori Didi also spoke the same thing, the tears came into my eyes. Like, this is the same thing my father used to tell me.
Wow.
So for me now, rag music is like prayer to God.
Wow. That brings me to my next question, sir. How has the Indian heritage of classical music seeped in through violin?
Yeah, it's the contributions of many great artists like N. Rajamji, M.S. Gopalakrishnan then my Guru Pandit K. Dattarji, Gajanan Buaji, then V.J. Jogji. They have contributed a lot. There is one more violinist by name Sridhar Parsekarji. They have brought, like it is the progressive steps. Earlier it was, I can demonstrate you a little bit,
For sure, sir.
if you
Yes.
allow me to.
We would love you to.
See, there are many styles, When we say, playing this, of course, I would also like to demonstrate the same thing in Western also, like. This is Western, this is Hindustani also.
Okay.
The basics ABCD of music. Now, when we say we are playing Hindustani Gaikiyam, then this is required.
The microtones.
Microtones and the mind.
Right.
Now, further, now this is, in the beginning, those violinists were not playing complete mind. They used to play limited mind, you can say, like. This kind of limited. Then this started. Okay, and then what I learned from Keshwarita is to see that change over from one note to other note, you should not feel that there is some
Gap or there's a shift.
Shift, yeah. For example, it is a shift now. You couldn't realize now.
So you're able to produce sound between shrutis also.
Yeah.
To sort of eliminate the gap that remains between two swars.
Exactly. That is one. Another thing, when you change the bow, you may, if you close your eyes, you may not understand that I have changed it. Like for example, third, you have to take care of when you change the string from here to here. That also has to be played in such a way that you should not understand that I have changed
right.
strings.
Right.
So that is what I learned while learning from these gurus.
Wow. Now coming
one more thing about this thing. Using the entire bow from here to here is very important.
Okay.
Holding the bow position is very important. This question you may have, because what is the difference of Hindustani and
Western?
Karnataka? Earlier, many violinists used to hold a bow like this.
Okay.
So the question was like, if I am holding the bow, then I am using this much only. And if I want to use this much bow, then why they have made this bow so big, so long?
Correct.
Right? They could use a baby bow. For a baby size violin, you get a small bow. They could play by that. But no. This
entire length.
This. Yeah. So that is one. Then maximum notes to be played in one bow is one of the criteria.
Okay.
Yeah. So for that you require to play the bow as slow as possible. Like for example, you can play this to 32 count, 34, 36 or 40, whatever is your capacity, the student's capacity.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the development from beginning violin
To now. Right. Coming to my next question, sir. You initially learned from Pandit D.K. Datar, sir, and then coming to Kishorita Yamonkar. I would like to ask that how did the Gharana system or the Gharana concept merge with such a Western instrument? Because earlier it started off with Gwalior Gharana, if I'm not wrong, and then we came on to Jaipur Atroli Gharana. So how did these concepts seep down or merge with a Western
Very
instrument?
frankly speaking, when you play Indian music on violin, this violin becomes Indian. The origin is Western, no doubt, but it becomes Indian. Now, question about, there is a controversy. South Indians say that this instrument is our own Indian instrument. It is not foreign, they say.
Okay.
They explain, like, you can see this like a turtle. So this backbone is of tortoise, and this is the face of this. So they used to use the turtle shell.
Oh.
To play, to make the violin sound.
Wow.
So from our, even Ravanatta in Rajasthan. So they adopted this idea and then they made violin. Some of them, they say.
Right.
How true, we don't know. But one thing is certain, that this violin is been developed in such a way that they made it their own.
Right.
And not only violin, they developed the further instrument that suits an orchestra, like violin, viola, cello, double bass.
Right.
Yeah. If now in India there are many violinists, they use 5 strings or 6 strings. But if they wanted, they could also make 6 strings.
Correct.
But they, the way that they have not made means there may be some other reason.
True that. I would want to know more about how did these styles merge with the Gharana style.
First of all,
concept.
I am also confused whether I have any particular Gharana.
Okay.
Because Datar Guruji really has his own Gharana, like Gwalior Gharana, but he had his own style of playing.
True.
So I learned from him and Kishori Didi. My impact of my performance is like yesterday what I played Yaman was, the first part was like Datar Guruji. In between that, all the what we said as prayer and everything, that was like Amir Khan, Bhimsen Joshi, Jasraj ji, my father's contribution, my other guru contribution, and then at the end it came to Kishori. So it merges that way.
Right.
As far as you enjoy the music, as far as you understand the depth of that music, as far as what we say, that it touches your heart, it touches your inner soul, the Gharana lies there.
Wow. Coming to my next question, what is the difference between Western style of playing and Indian style of playing a violin?
Yeah. So 2-3 answers I gave you already, right? Now it comes to the basic difference is tuning. They tune it to E, A, D, G.
Okay.
So in our words it will be Ma, Sa, Pa, Re.
Okay.
So everything, all the notes goes in different way. For us, we do it Sa, Pa, or Pa, Sa, or Ma, Sa, Pa, Sa.
Okay.
Ma, in the sense, if they want to play Malkos, they would make it Ma. So niche ka Ma mil raha hai. Okay. Now, another difference is they hold it on the shoulder.
Okay.
Like this. And then The way we have rag, they have scales, different scales. Some of the scales are nearing to our ragdari. So most of the when it comes to fusion and all, most of the Kirwani goes for sure.
Right.
Yeah. What I was, I wanted to tell you this. For us, it becomes sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, right? But for them, it will be like sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. This string will be re, re ga ma pa da, and this will be re ga ma pa. This will be pa da ni sa.
Okay.
Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, re ga ma pa. This will be the ni sa.
So there's a difference in orientation of fingers and the orientation of strings as well.
Yeah, because now for me ga is here only. The is here. But in that tuning, the fingering change.
Change, right.
And another thing, when they play Western music, they are able to. Not able to. It is their genre of playing the harmonies. Like for example.
You rightly mentioned it, sir, that the main difference between Western and Indian classical music that is easily definable or easily observable is that the Western music is based on harmonies and Indian music is based on melodies. Single melodies.
Yeah.
So can you, if you could, demonstrate something on that front?
I can do that.
The other one felt more continuous.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yes. Now, coming from the violin as an instrument and its tradition, we'll come to questions with respect to you as an artist. I would like to ask you, how does it feel, or what difference do you feel while performing as an accompanist and while performing as a soloist on the violin?
Very good question. When it comes to accompanist, especially I would like to speak about what I learned while accompanying many a musician like Pandit Baban Rao ji, Neela Tahi Bhagwat ji, and of course my Guruji, my other Guruji, Vasantrao Kadnekar ji, and of course Kishori Tai ji. There you have to be just an accompanist. You don't need to show anything what you know. However, you may be better than them, or you may be feeling something to play better something sometimes, you know. But you cannot show that. There lies the honesty.
Okay, correct.
Modesty.
Right.
That you know everything, but you be with him. Accompanist means you are accompanying him to make his concert or her concert to the height of the, what we say, to that,
Peak.
that extent.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, adding to that, play something short which will encourage singer to go ahead. That's the role of the accompanist.
Right.
When you play a solo, there you are whole and soul.
Correct.
You have to see that you please the audience by your music. I used to pray every time, and I do pray that God give me the strength to make me play in such a way that the audience forget their sorrow for a couple of minutes.
Right.
That's what I pray, and then I start my music. And it is His blessing at that day, that time, it happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
So to talk about it in terms of cricket, in a humorous way, it's like आपलंच ग्राउंड आहे, आपलाच बॉल आहे, आपलीच बॅट आहे, असं सोलोइस्ट असताना you might feel. And while accompanying somebody, you are a part of the team and playing for the team.
Correct. But at the same time, though I use that it is solo, so I know what I do. But when you go on the stage, it is some power that makes you play.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. It is. Though we say it is my decision. No, it is not my decision. To give that thought, what to play next rag, or what to play which tan, everything just happens.
Absolutely.
With God's grace.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Furthermore, I'd like to ask you, did the pursuit of Indian classical music change something within you?
As a musician?
As a musician,
as a human being?
as an artist, as a human being?
Of course. I would say my life without violin would be zero. You see my house. If I wanted, I could have purchased a very big flat also. Many years ago. I've been in this line for past 30-40 years.
Wow.
But I never demand financial aspect. If anybody, tomorrow you may call me by somebody else's name, I would say, okay, let us play, let us decide about remuneration, other things later on. Because of the sanskar of my father,
right.
Music is something that is given to you by God. It is something that you have to give it to the society. And that's how almost past 8 years I have been playing for cancer patients,
Wow.
Mentally retarded people, handicapped, old age people. We go in old age ashram, orphanage ashram, and then we play there for them.
Wow.
That gives me happiness. And whenever you are sad, sometimes in life you feel that you are no one or you are alone. You feel sad, you feel that what is this life about? But at that time, violin helps you to come out of that moment, Yeah. Even if you're tired. Now, for example, today I'm very much tired.
Right. Okay.
I worked for 8-9 hours today. And I came here and I played violin. I was fresh. So
Wow.
it helps for everything, each and every. It music takes you to such a point that you may not even imagine. अरे ये ऐसा हो गया.
Wow. Yes, that is true. That brings me to my next question about the scope and the power of music. As to Indian classical music provides the ability to emote certain emotions or all of the emotions in the navrasas through music. What is your take on that?
Yes. Last time we played for one of the ashram, and I played one dhun. Now that dhun was not related to that audience at all. But after the concert, she came and she said, "Whatever you played, I remembered that I was in the farm and harvesting it." And thereafter, I don't know what happened. I am here today in front of you. So that music, but she was into tears. So I don't know what they felt. Same incident was in America when I played Payoji Mene. All the Americans were there, white people. And then after that Payoji Mene, she came and she said, I don't know what you played, but when you played, I felt that I was in jungle in search of Rama.
Wow.
I don't know. So there are many incidents with me, what I feel of this. You can produce happiness, happy mood also. You can produce sad mood also. Sometimes you can produce comedy mood also.
Right. So I think there are two things. One is being able to generate a certain or invoke a certain emotion in your audience by a style of playing or by the raga itself, or at times it is also your inner emotion that comes into picture onto the violin and is reflected back into the audience.
That is also experienced whenever you have, but I don't know, suppose I am not in mood, so actually that not in mood or I am sad, on the stage that should come out, right?
Right.
But it doesn't happen.
Correct.
When you play violin, there lies the sadhana. You know, you have been practicing violin for 30 years, or you have practiced violin for so many years with different gurus. That blessing comes out. No matter whether you are happy or whether you are sad, or there are some incidents happened at home or in your area.
Right.
Like you might have heard about Bal Gandharvji's story, that 2-3 hours before or one day before, on the same day, he got the news that his son is no more. So now what would have gone on in his heart?
Absolutely.
He said, God had given, God took it back. Don't cancel the show. Because of me, to listen to me, there will be thousands of audience who would come. I don't want any of the audience to go back. And he performed to the maximum, to that peak, you said, as you said.
Wow.
So under dukh hai, same story with Charlie Chaplin also.
Yes.
Throughout life.
Yes. That is true. I would like to ask you now, in your years of playing, years of teaching, and many of the performances that you have given, which is your most played rag?
Oh, my most played rag is Bhoop rag.
Oh, okay.
Markov's.
Okay.
Yaman. Then Purya Kalyan. But those three are main.
And if you were to name something that rag has given you, what would it be?
What rag had given me? Sahelare has given me a lot of things. Happiness is a single word that I can tell you.
Wow.
Yaman Rag played with Kishori Tai has given me Europe tour.
Wow. So coming to my next question, being you initially learned from many violinists, and then coming to learning from a Hindustani classical vocalist. She was a virtuoso, she was Gan Saraswati Vidushi Kishorita Yamunkar. But how does music from vocals come into violin? We say that, you know, the vocal cord and the violin are much on similar frequencies. But how was the learning process while learning an instrument from vocals?
Yeah, it is a very good question. You know, many people they feel like, "Arey, she is a vocalist, and then what she would teach on violin, what she does know about violin." The main basic thing is like, as I said, we'll play Gaikiyan. That's what I went to learn from her. Now, what is Gaikiyan? Simple alap. Now, if I play this in different way, okay, this is one way. And now, if I play the same thing,
There's more sustenance this time.
it's like bow is the breath.
Oh.
So how long did I sing that sa, dha and sa? It's my duty to reproduce the same thing.
Same. Correct.
Since you are a musician, you will understand it better. But for general public, they understand only if it is demonstrated.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't understand. That's it.
Wow. Coming to my next question, now being a teacher yourself, how can different instruments be taught on violin and why should they be taught?
As I told you, so I went to learn vocal on my violin. Same thing, whatever I learned, what has happened, you know, people say, I wouldn't say, people say that when I play violin, they can hear Gaikiyan. You also said it, right? So that Gaikiyan is a, I don't know whether replica is the correct word, is what I learned from Kishori Tai and Datar Guruji, because Datar Guruji also had learned vocal.
Okay.
So he also plays the vocal. But it is a combination of Datar Guruji's style, Pandit B.S. Bhatt Guruji's style, Vasadrav Kadnekar Guruji's style, and
I see.
Tai style. But the impact of Tai style is more because I was with her for 20 years.
Wow.
21 years almost. So naturally, and then I had, as I explained yesterday, some of the rag I learned one to one
talim, yes.
One to one talim, and it gives a lot of
mileage.
difference.
Yes, it does.
So same way, what I played, like yesterday that flautist had come. Today also is going to come. So whatever I play, now these phrases, they have never heard this kind of phrases, how to play. So these are kind of things that they learn from me. There is a saxophone player who used to learn, then flute player learns. Some of the vocalists also come to learn. I said, I am not a vocalist. We will sing, you play on violin.
Wow. Wow. This has indeed been a great time with you, sir. Coming to my last question now. In your view, how has Indian classical music or Indian instruments gathered great attention all over the world? And how do you see the impact of Indian culture on world music?
Impact of Indian classical music, what we have, even Yadnesh was there with me in Seattle. Can you imagine that I am playing slow alap and the audience is swaying like this?
Wow.
You cannot imagine that. At the most, you would say like this or sit. Most of the foreigners, they sit like this for hours until your music is over, and then they will open the eyes slowly, and then they come to know that it is over. Then they will clap, and they will clap with full interest, right? They wouldn't give you wah-wah in between, like we have the habit of listening to that wah-wah, which encourages us to play. But in Seattle's concert, what I observed is I am playing Natabhairav with a slow movement, slow alap, and those front line 2-3 audiences swaying like this. I am just playing sa, but he's swaying.
Wow.
And like impact, the effect of that music turned out to be such a way that they followed my next 2 concerts also.
Lovely, right?
You know, even in Switzerland, there is a music director by name Don Lee. He heard my Yaman, and then he wrote me a mail saying that I am in love with your violin tone and the way you have played with Kishori Tai.
Wow.
I would like to meet you. Let me know if January suits you. So they came here to Bombay, and they attended my concert. They came to this house. Will you believe that the first dialogue when he entered, he said, I played something for them, as a welcome. His face was like not happy. He was wondering something. He said, I said, what is the problem? He said, I am disturbed since yesterday. I said, why? The tone of that violin, what you played yesterday, and the tone that you played today is not the tone that I have come to listen.
Okay.
I said, what is that? The tone in that Yaman Rag that you are playing is far different than what you are playing now. I immediately realized that it is that violin of Kishori Tai's pitch. Safed Saha, Safed Sat. Kari Pa Safed Sat's violin. So I said, oh, that is a different violin. So I brought that violin, I played it. I said, yeah, I came to listen to this. Here is Milind Raikar.
I see.
And then what dialogue he used, he called me that. He organized my concert, and I saw there is no name of tabla player. So I asked him, what is this? He said, your music is not meant for tabla. Your music is meant for the soul.
Wow.
I want you to play for me, my audience, without tabla for 1 hour. And it was a challenge for me.
Lovely, yes.
But I played 1 hour Mia Mallar without
Wow.
tabla, with alap, little bit tan here and there. And people were not getting up. So I said, my program is over. Do you want to listen more? He said, yes, we want to listen more. Then I played Puriya Kalyan, Puriya Dhanashri. There's some clip of that is on the YouTube. You can listen to it sometime.
Definitely.
The tone that he had given is marvelous, mind-blowing.
Coming to my next question, as the heritage has passed on from one generation to the other, what are the steps that you have taken for Indian classical music to be propagated further?
I have established Raikar Academy of Violin, Pandit D.K. Datar Parampara.
Okay.
So my focus is to create violinists and teach them, give them the idea of Western music, the technique of Western music as well as technique of Hindustani music, and to promote this further, to develop the interest in young generation. I have also started a new group called as Color the Violin, where I give the stage to my students. They play with me, and in that Color the Violin, we play all kind of musical styles like Tumri, Natya Geet, Ghazals, filmy songs, old filmy songs, new songs, and that's how. So after each concert, we at least have 1 or 2 inquiries, or they join my academy, and then yes, this is what I have done. But I should tell a small story. Once I had gone to Allahabad with my Guruji, Pandit D.K. Datarji, and the concert was very, very nice. He played Natabhairav. So in the evening, we used to go for always a round. And while coming back, he said, I just happened to say, you played well, so well that I have a question, I have a worry that whether I will be able to play like you. So he said, why not? You are practicing and you will play one day. But I should tell you something, he said, and he continued. Earlier days, the violin was not played in this style. It was played in a instrumental style. So I have contributed to play this instrument in Gaiki style, and it is your duty to carry on this tradition.
Wow.
So with his respect, I started this academy.
I think it all started with Pandit Ravi Shankar ji starting to play the sitar and propagating Indian classical music across United States, across Europe, across various continents on this planet.
Exactly.
And eventually gathering all the attention for Indian classical music, and which, Pandit Ravi Shankar ji is the reason today why I am here. If not for him, Indian classical music would not have been propagated this much, and we would not have undertaken this project. So from there till here, Indian classical music has seen a lot, is going to be a lot more than I can fathom. So I would like to thank you, sir, for joining us on board. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and blessing us with all the information regarding violin. Now I would like to request Swaraprajna Pandit Milind Raikar, sir, to play something for us. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.